Aloha, it's Kiana, and here are today's top Hawaii headlines from the editors at the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Also, mahalo to Long's Drugs Hawaii for sponsoring the show. Head on over to your neighborhood Long's Drugs for all your shopping needs. More than 100 plaintiffs have joined a lawsuit targeting the military's handling of the Red Hill fuel spill. The new additions are military family members and civilians who were on the Navy's drinking water system when it was contaminated with jet fuel last year. An initial lawsuit filed in August claims military families didn't receive adequate care for health problems that arose after they were exposed to the tainted water. An amended complaint filed today goes further by claiming that the Navy destroyed evidence by discarding hundreds of water samples collected from affected homes. The samples were passed through a screening tool that can detect water contamination, but not the contaminant. At the time, military families were complaining of sicknesses and said they could smell fuel odors coming from their faucets. The water samples were never tested for petroleum. Alex Jones has been ordered to pay another huge sum for peddling false conspiracy theories about the Sandy Hook school massacre. A judge imposed $473 million in punitive damages on the InfoWars host and his company, Free Speech Systems, today. The ruling is part of a Connecticut lawsuit filed by victims' families. The nearly $500 million order adds to the $965 million in damages a jury awarded to 15 plaintiffs last year. For years, Jones repeatedly said the shooting that killed 20 students and 6 educators never happened. He claimed that the grieving families seen on TV were actors hired in a plot to confiscate guns. In August, a Texas jury ordered Jones to pay $50 million to the parents of another child killed in the shooting. A third trial over Jones' hoax claims is expected to begin in Texas later this year. 3 teenagers were seriously injured in a car crash on the H3 freeway early today. The crash happened before 3 this morning on the Halawa-bound lanes of the freeway, about 2 miles from the Tetsuo Harano Tunnel. Honolulu Emergency Medical Services responded to a report of a vehicle that rolled over at a high rate of speed. An 18-year-old man and 2 boys were in the car. They were transported to a hospital in serious condition. Meanwhile, a 27-year-old motorcyclist has died after hitting a small passenger bus in Eva. Police said a Honda motorcycle was speeding on Geiger Road at about 2:20 Wednesday afternoon when it veered into opposing lanes to overtake several cars. It collided with a bus, making a left turn onto Kamakana Street. The motorcyclist was pronounced dead at the scene. The 76-year-old bus driver and her 11- and 12-year-old passengers were not injured in the crash. A positive government report on inflation helped Wall Street surge to its best day in more than 2 years. The S&P 500 jumped 5.5% today on a report showing that inflation slowed in October. It was the 4th straight month of economic cooling since consumer prices peaked at 9.1% in June. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 1,200 points on the news, while the Nasdaq shot up 7.4%. Traders are viewing the inflation data as a sign that the worst may have passed. Slower inflation could persuade the Federal Reserve to shift away from a series of aggressive interest rate hikes that brought its key rate to a range of 3.75% to 4%. Some traders are betting that the Fed will raise rates by only 0.5 percentage points at its next policy meeting in December. A large section of the destroyed space shuttle Challenger has been found on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Divers for a TV documentary crew discovered the piece of wreckage in March while searching for a lost World War II plane off the coast of Florida. NASA's Kennedy Space Center announced the discovery today. Challenger broke apart shortly after liftoff in 1986. All 7 on board were killed, including Hawaii's Ellison Onizuka. NASA said the 15-foot by 15-foot fragment is one of the biggest pieces of Challenger ever found. Officials believe the piece came from the shuttle's belly because it is covered in square thermal tiles. The discovery will be detailed in a History Channel documentary that airs on November 22nd. For more on these stories and all the latest headlines, subscribe to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Visit Hawaii's top source for breaking news online at staradvertiser.com and download the Star-Advertiser mobile app. Mahalo, have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.